Everybody, and welcome to another MX Bikes video. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about kind of the OEM team. They just released a pretty long statement talking about what they're working on, about the future updates, kind of what's happening. I know there's been kind of some confusion, even with me, about when the next OEM update's going to be. Now, obviously, with the leaks that happened in March, I think some things have kind of changed a little bit. But the main guy we're looking at is Poboso, all right? I can't give you any updates on Poboso. I don't even know if that brother's still alive. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't know. He kind of just, I don't know what he'd be doing. But hit that summon, hit that like button, guys. I got some gameplay here in the background. I'm not actually playing. I am doing some post commentary, but I want to look at this post that they have put out. It's called the OEM Development Update May/June 2024. So I'm going to read through this, try to put some screenshots on the screen showing you guys what I'm reading through, and I'm just going to kind of talk about it, give my opinion, and yeah, let's get right into it, boys. All right, we're going to start at the very top here. So they say, hello. They talk about how they've had, a rough couple months, but no one has quit, all right? OEM team's not quitting. No one has dropped out that I know of, and they did need a break, though, but they say that, however, work continues, and we're making progress in the areas which we wanted to tackle. For instance, we've been working on the tires traction and how we can improve it. Alongside that, we've worked on model updates and also began collecting information regarding the 2024/2025 bike dynos, plus more. So they're still working. It's not over. MX Bikes is not dead. Dude, when those leaks happened, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit scary, but it seems things are still being worked on, which is great. So we're going to start here with the motocross section. So they say, as our main focus is the motocross pack, we've been doing most of our work based on it. This includes reworking bike and tire physics as well as data collection. Although we're not ready to release an update for the MX pack yet, we're hoping to release a full update ASAP. This should include an update for all 51 of our existing bikes across all categories, as well as an update for the tires. We apologize for the lack of updates this year. However, we've ran into quite a few complications alongside this. We're also hoping a game update will be able to fix some of the bugs that we found while developing, which are currently delaying us. So, again, as I said, Poboso is kind of the guy that's being waited on here. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll shoot him a DM. I think I've shot him enough DMs, I'm going to be honest. Bro, Poboso, I'm just going to be honest. When Poboso replies to you, bro, it's literally like you're talking to ChatGPT, dude. I mean, he just hits you with that, I don't know. He just hits you with that AI-generated type response, bro. I don't know what's going on, if he's a robot, if he's real. Anyways, after that, they talk about engines. One of the small changes that we've been working on is the bike dynos. As we're heading towards 2025 bikes, we began collecting information and IRL specifications from available data. This will help us in the future when we need to adjust the current bikes as that they're aligned with the 2025 bikes IRL. We've already started adjusting some of the bikes. However, they're far from a release state. So they're already working on the 2025 dynos. They're already looking at data. I'm so hyped for the new bikes and just something different. I think that December update was really good. I love the bikes the way they are now. The tires is the only kind of iffy thing, and I think that things could be a bit less spread out as far as the speed of some of the bikes. Obviously, the KTM is a great bike, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. Alongside this, we've also taken note of the feedback from our last release. There's loads, so I'll just highlight a few. Some of the upcoming changes include looking at fixing/stopping the TM250F engine from blowing up permanently or prematurely. I heard someone in GP, yeah, his bike blew up last lap. That's actually really saddening. Yeah, I've known about that. I don't really know why that's a thing. That's actually an insane mechanic that probably not a lot of people even knew existed. Yes, you can blow up the TM250F. To me, that's insane. The engine wear and tear seems to be higher than the other bikes in the same class, so we'll be updating that. As well as that, we'll begin looking at how we can increase how noticeable engine braking is again, as we believe this will help slow the bikes down slightly. We've also begun experimenting and making changes to a few of our bikes' RPM ranges. This is to resolve an issue where those bikes are regularly at the RPM limit in irregular places. All right, so we're starting to get into some nerd stuff. Now, the engine braking, I think that's cool that they're going to start looking at that. There is engine braking in MX bikes and on these OEM bikes. It's not as powerful, though, as it probably could be. And they're kind of talking about how that could slow things down. So I think that's quite interesting. Maybe the engine braking's too powerful right now. I'm not exactly sure where they're going to go with it. But now we move on to the tires section. So they say, since the release of version 18.3a, one of the main pieces of feedback that we've really listened to and believed is that the traction is too high. I've been saying it. It definitely is a bit too high. Therefore, we've been spending a good amount of time developing our tire physics model and making necessary adjustments. We believe that we're on a good path to finding a final version. However, we're not completely there yet. So they're working on the tires. They're figuring some stuff out. I think there's some videos below that I'm actually going to put on screen to show you kind of what they're talking about. They also say these adjustments feature an increased presence of dynamic grip levels. The dynamic approach means that the level of grip depends on the load that's placed on the wheel. This load is being generated by a number of variables, mainly the lean angle of the bike / wheel, the rider position, the contact points of the wheel on the ground, and the bike's acceleration. So I kind of talked about that when I tested the A-Kit bikes. It felt like there was more of like a gradient of traction, but in the past in MX bikes like Beta 17, you would literally lose traction in an instant. Like, it would happen so fast you couldn't even react, which is just not realistic to real life. I mean, you could tuck the front pretty hard in real life, but you usually have a second to be like, oh shit, I'm about to eat the dirt. But in this game, there's definitely times where it just full traction in the corner, and all of a sudden, boom, it slips out. And that's how you can fly, you know, 500 yards out of a TFC rut, because you're just losing traction so fast. Then they say in bold text that these proposed changes will require the player to have increased caution when accelerating through flat corners. This is due to the rear wheel being more likely to lose lateral traction and sliding out. Whereas if the bike is sat or planted in a rut / berm, the rear should be less likely to step away from you when accelerating, right? So that's pretty simple. When you're railing a berm, you're using still the bottom of the tire, right? The big knobbies that you see. But if you're in a flat corner and you're going to be leaning the bike over, you're going to be kind of getting more towards the edges, which aren't going to have as much traction. That's realistic, makes sense. Then they say, although these changes can sound scary, this doesn't mean that every corner you take will result in the rear wheel losing traction. The main change and difference will be adapting to slightly new riding styles. This is due to the rider's position and actions on the bike increasingly influencing how traction is being applied to the wheels. If you want to step the rear out in a corner, then you can lean / accelerate and generate the needed forces to step the rear out. If you want to take the corner without the rear losing traction, you can do so. If you want to control the rear after it's stepped out, then you can also do that. We hope that this upcoming change will result in riders having to increasingly think about what they should lean / counter lean forward / back, accelerate / brake, etc. Yeah, I think this is great. I mean, in past betas, you've had to worry about this stuff, but it was to a point where it was quite frustrating. Last summer was weird. I don't know. It wasn't very enjoyable. I saw that in how many people were playing the game. I remember there was outdoor races where there was like only 60 signups. Like, there was barely even getting enough people to fill a gate. So they're definitely gonna have to work hard on this. They can't miss the mark. So I think if there's a level between where the tires are now and then not a lot of traction, they're gonna have to start somewhere in the middle. And if they want to adjust again, then I think they should. I don't think they're gonna get this right in the first update. I don't think. And I'm on the OEM team. Now, they might get it right. I don't know. When those bikes come out and I do a review, I'll tell you guys. But the tire stuff, to me, sounds extremely complicated. So they then say, just to summarize, this means that we're hoping the new tires will introduce more throttle control into the game, with the main objective of the traction being consistent and logical. That's just kind of summarization of what I was just talking about. But then they say, don't panic yet. We promise this won't turn the bikes into drift machines, and it won't be similar to the version 17 tires. That was beta 17. Yeah, I was there for that, sort of the back end of it. And I was pretty bad at the game, so I was only going like 5 miles per hour on forest, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really experiencing too many issues, but I do sort of remember that stuff. And these tires now are very, very different. But if we look down here, they have 2 videos. So they say, here's 2 brief clips showing the current work in progress MX tires. So the first clip we have is where they are intentionally controlling the slide. So as you can see there, they didn't slide out at all. There was good throttle control, but they're not taking that corner like you can now with the current tires. I mean, you could maybe get off the gas a little bit, but they're having to get off the gas a lot, use the engine braking in that corner, and just kind of roll around. Current tires, you can really push it. And so now we're gonna look where they are intentionally sliding the rear, which this is gonna be really interesting to me, because this is not something you can really feasibly do in the game we have right now. That's pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty wild. Now, I can't sit here and say, oh, this is it, they fixed it, because it is just one video. I mean, I've done stuff like that in races, in practice, but I mean, if that's consistently how it's going to work on flat corners, then they've definitely figured something out. So they're working in the right direction. That's awesome to see. And then they say, again, just to repeat myself, these tires are very work in progress and as such are due to change multiple times before release. So yeah, still fairly far away from an update. All right, the next section is bug finding. I'm not going to really bore you guys with that stuff, but looks like they talk about compact soil, which is extremely slippery on the current tires, even though these tires have a decent amount of grip. It just doesn't really work. I know Stone Riders kind of worked with that a little bit with the Supercross tracks, and it just doesn't work very well, especially at slow speeds. I mean, it's literally like you're on ice. But the second paragraph here says, one of the main challenges that we've been working against is how the tires are loaded into the game. Thankfully, after hours of trial, error, and failure, we've been able to find a bug in this process, which is drastically slowing down our development. Alongside the compact soil issue, we've been able to work with Paboso, and he's been able to fix this bug. This fix is currently working on the beta version of the game, which is being privately tested. Once this issue has been fixed publicly, we'll be able to fully commit to working on our new tires, and completing them as developed and testing will be much easier. So that's great. It's cool they're working on that stuff. Should make things a lot easier. And then they have a section called Game Updates. Alongside the changes that we've been making, members of our team have also been able to privately test the upcoming game update. With this in mind, we've been able to test our work-in-progress tires and bikes on the new game version, which has shown promising results. So that means there's an update coming, which is a surprise to me. W Paboso in the chat. Can we please get a W Paboso? Holy shit. I'm so happy. After that, they talk about Supermoto and Enduro. I'm not really going to talk about that. They do have some work in progress videos, which is cool. Yeah, we're just going to skip over that. We kind of just care about MX right now. And then they have a section on models. They talk about how they have basically finished the 2024 Kawasaki KX450, the 2024 Triumph TF250X, and then the 2023 TM450Fi. So that's cool. We got more models that are done. Then they talk about model swaps. So obviously due to the leak, all the model swaps are public. If you guys go to the OEM website, the Project OEM website, you guys can go get those. And then if you go into the MXB Discord, you can also just ask. Someone will probably tell you if you can't find the website. It should be pretty easy to find though. Then they address some questions, which I think this could be interesting. I haven't looked at these questions yet, but the first one is, will there be an OEM update before the Aerial Outdoors begins? So obviously we have 2 more days until the first round. Their answer is no, not unless Paboso releases an update and we're required to release a patch. So obviously no. Has anyone quit or given up after the leak? Their answer is no. We're all still working on the project and hope to keep improving it. So that's great. Do you have an official Instagram? Yes, they do. It's called Project OEM. I follow them on my Instagram, so if you just go to my following, you can easily find it, or you can just search it up. Pretty easy. Next question is the KTM 450 purposely OP? Some people think that KTM's giving them bans, boy. They're getting paid to promote the KTM. I don't understand that at all. I don't know what the motive there would be, but the answer is no. We try to balance the bikes as best we can when comparing to IRL data, and also how they act in game setups and meta help play into the popularity of a bike. So, yeah, the answer is no. It's not OP on purpose. It's just how it be. The next question is, how can I download the OEM model swaps? So, this is easy to do. You basically just go to the download link, and you download it, and then you drag the EDF in your bike folder, and that's it. Model swaps on. Super easy. The next question is, where can I download the bike PSDs? How do I make graphics? They have some information about that. I don't know anything about any of that. I just don't really know what a PSD is. So, yeah, I'm an idiot. When will the bikes be receiving the 2024 update or even the 2025 update? They say we hope to have an update for them before 2025. So, we're getting an update in 2024. Okay, it's kind of crazy that we're already 5 months into 2024. It's kind of been flying by, man. I'm not going to lie, but this is kind of the information that I have that they've given, and just kind of wanted to show you guys because I think a lot of people probably don't even know this exists. But yes, updates are being worked on. The tires are the main focus, and yeah, I mean, the bikes we have right now are great, but I think, yeah, the tires need some work. We need a little bit more of a skill gap. Honestly, I could propose an idea. All right, what if we had competitive tires, right? Tires that you had to use if you were going to race aerial. And these tires had a little bit less traction. They're a little bit more to the harder side. You have to have a lot of throttle control. But you kind of left the tires that we currently have for like the pub lobby players. Because I seriously think like the huge boom in the last few months of this game, especially through the Supercross season, the retention of players was way better than any past year. It's not even close. And I think that's because not only are the bikes great, but the tires work pretty well for newer players. So I don't know, just a thought. I don't really know how that would work if you could somehow make a rule to where you had to use a certain tile and or tire in an aerial race. I don't know, just an idea. I don't want them to go too far to the slippery route, you know. I don't know. I also don't want the tracks that have been made so far to be unrideable, but I trust them. I know they're going to do a lot of testing, so we should be fine. I'm hyped for this new update. I'm hyped to see that they're still working hard, and I think this year is going to be a great year for this game. And yeah, let's keep pushing, boys. That's some of the like buttons you got in a video.